I hope slide is visible to everyone. Am I right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So today we will see the two experiments. They are not very difficult. They are not very lengthy, but you should know basic concepts of the sound and waves. Waves means part of thermodynamics only. Although there are two experiments which is incorporated into this particular experiment. So first part is a kind of thermodynamic experiment along with these sound waves, and second part is completely sound wave. Okay. So this is I told you in the beginning only. This is the a kind of slightly different experiment that we are not doing the hardcore experiment in the lab. Right now we are not in the lab, but we are using the result, the observation of someone else's who has carried out the experiment, and those observations we are analyzing by this experiment. Okay, so what is the experiment? So along a closed cylindrical tank containing a diatomic gas which is maintained at a uniform temperature that can be varied. So you have a diatomic gas which is there inside the cylindrical tank. Temperature can be varied. When to measure, when you measure the speed of sound in the gas as a function of temperature, you obtain these results. So these are the results which is obtained by someone else. So when the temperature of the gas is minus 20 degrees Celsius, the speed of sound in the gas is 324 meter per second. When the temperature of the gas is 0 degrees Celsius, speed is 337 meter per second. So you see the first row, the temperature is varied from minus 20 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius. So the reading has been taken in a gap of, in an interval of 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, so temperature was varied, and in an interval of after 20 degrees Celsius rise in the temperature, the velocity of the sound was measured in that particular gas. So temperature is given in row 1, and in row 2 the velocity of the sound in that particular gas is given. Clear to everyone? Shall we move? Yes. So this is the observation. Now what we have to do with this observation is this. So aim number 1, to plot the above results in such a way that the graph will be well fit by a straight line. Just now you have seen in the previous video how to draw the best fit line. So aim number 1 in this particular experiment is using above results, you will plot the graph in such a way that graph will be well fit by a straight line. Construct this graph and verify that the plotted points do lie close to a straight line. So with the observation, okay, temperature in one column and velocity in the another column. So what quantity you will plot on the x-axis, what quantity you will plot on the y-axis, so that the graph will be a best fit straight line. Clear? Aim number 1. Aim number 2. Now, since the gas is a diatomic gas, you know that for diatomic gas, the gamma, which is a ratio of Cp by Cv, okay, Cp by Cv is gamma, and for diatomic gas, this gamma, this number is 1.40. So, since the gas is a diatomic gas, gamma is 1.40. So, use the slope of the line for the graph which you have plotted in part A. In part A, you will be plotting some graph, and the slope of that line you have to use in part 2 to calculate capital M, the molar mass of the gas, and then you have to express this M in gram per mole. Understood? This two things what you are supposed to do? Yes? Any
Yes.
doubt in this two part? A part and B part? Any doubt? If no, then I will move ahead. Okay. So I will give you a hint as well. Of course, in this particular experiment and not in the second experiment. Second experiment, you will have to think over it. You will have to do on your own. Second, first part, first experiment, I am giving you hint. Okay. Now to plot the given results, you know what was the observation. Temperature was varied here. and corresponding velocity as those particular temperature was measured. Okay, so what is your aim? Your aim is to plot a graph which will be a best fit line, straight line. Now we know that for an ideal gas, the speed of sound can be expressed in terms of temperature, capital T, molar mass, capital M, and the gamma. Gamma is Cp by Cv. So velocity of sound in gas is given by square root of gamma r T divided by capital N. Gamma is a gas constant. Capital R is gamma is Cp by Cv, that ratio 1.40. R is a gas constant, 8.31 SI unit. Capital T is the temperature at which that particular experiment was carried out. Capital M is the molar mass. So we are aware of this relation which exists for the velocity of sound in the gas with respect to the temperature. Now, you know this relation. Now, next, what you can do with this formula so that you can plot some suitable quantity in such a way that the graph will be a best fit straight line. Any idea? How will you move ahead from this point onward? Yes, I want answer from your side. Only I'm doing the experiment. It seems. Yes. Any idea? Okay.
Sir, can you repeat the question once again?
See, we have got the observation, ready-made observation available with us. And what is that observation? So in one row, I have the temperature at different temperature. The person has measured the velocity of sound in that particular gas. So I have the temperature available with me, and at different temperature, I have the velocity of sound also available with me. Now aim is to plot the graph so that graph will be a straight line. So what quantity I should plot on the x-axis, what quantity I should plot on the y-axis, so that the graph will be a straight line. I know this relation. V equal to square root of gamma r T divided by capital N. So what quantity I can plot?
Sir, x-axis temperature, y-axis velocity.
Okay, one answer is x-axis temperature, y-axis velocity. True, but in slightly modified part. Okay. Now, just now in previous video, we all have heard that on the x-axis we usually plot the independent parameter or the dependent parameter. On the x-axis, what we plot, independent or dependent?
Independent parameter.
Independent parameter, and on the y-axis we plot the dependent parameter. Now in this particular experiment, which parameter is independent in this particular experiment? Temperature. Independent parameter is that parameter which you are controlling. Okay, in this particular experiment, temperature was varied. It was under your control. How much temperature you want to vary, you have changed the temperature. Okay, but the corresponding velocity of the gas, it was not under your control. So the temperature will have effect on the velocity, and corresponding velocity was measured. So velocity is dependent on the temperature, and therefore the temperature will come on the x-axis, and the velocity will come on the y-axis, but not directly velocity. It is a slightly different way. So V equal to gamma RT upon capital M in the square root. I will do the squaring on both the sides. So V square equal to gamma RT by capital M. Now I am rearranging slightly like this. So V square equal to gamma R divided by capital M into T. So if I plot the graph of V square versus T, so V square on the y-axis, T on the x-axis, then graph will be a kind of linear graph like this. It will be a linear graph like this. And for an ideal gas, it will pass through the 0, 0 line. For non-ideal gas, for the real gases, you may get some intercept. Okay, you may get some intercept. But for ideal gas, example says an ideal diatomic gas, so you may get passing through 0, 0. Okay. Now I have plotted V square versus T. You have data. You have in your data you have T and the velocity. So what you will do, in one column you will write T, the temperature in degree Celsius. You may convert in the Kelvin also. You need to convert in Kelvin. Then velocity also you have, which is in meter per second. You will find out the square of that velocity. Okay, and then you will plot v square versus t. So the slope here, if you see, it is like y equal to mx plus c. Of course, since in this case, if the gas is an ideal gas, then c, your intercept will be 0. So this line will pass through origin. Okay, so v square. So this is kind of y equal to mx. Okay, so this gamma r by capital M, this is slope. So therefore, slope is gamma r by capital M, and I have plotted my own graph here on the Excel, but you are supposed to plot on the graph paper by pencil. Okay, so I got slope as 410.25 meters square per k square. You may get slightly different answer because this I have plotted on the Excel sheet. Okay, so I have calculated slope. Then what was the aim? So aim number one was to plot this graph, best fit line. What was the second aim? Okay, this one. So use the slope of the line which you have plotted in part A to calculate capital M. Now how will you calculate capital M? I know slope. So how will I get capital M? Molar mass. Here this one. How will I get? I know slope. Yes. Slope value I know. Yes. Answer from your side. I know gamma, which is 1.4. I know capital R, 8.31. So what is unknown in this equation?
M.
M only, no? So I can calculate, no? If I know slope of this line, which I can calculate because just now in previous video we have seen how to calculate slope of a given line. So if this line which you have plotted, you know all the coordinates on this line. So slope you can find out by y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, and that slope is nothing but gamma r by capital M. So I know slope value from this line. I know gamma, which is 1.4. I know capital R, 8.31. So don't you think I can calculate capital M? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is how you will carry out this experiment. Don't look at this number. You may get slightly different answer. Okay, so that was first experiment which you are supposed to carry out, which you are supposed to plot in your journal. Okay, understood? First experiment. Understood this experiment? Then I will move ahead with the second part, second experiment. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now this is slightly different based on sound. So here I will give you the minimum hint. In previous experiment, I gave you each and everything. Okay, you are just supposed to plot v square versus t graph and then find out the slope. Slope, if you know, you can calculate m. So each and everything I told you. In this, I will give a very small hint, and then remaining part you have to look into the book. You have to find out on your own. Okay. So what is this experiment? Again, kind of data analysis only. So someone has carried out the experiment, and those observations we will use directly to analyze the results. So in the physics lab, an oscillator is attached to one end of a horizontal string. So there is a string, one end is fixed, another end it is attached to the oscillator. The other end of the string passes over a pulley. You suspend a mass capital M from the free end of the string. So when you attach this mass M to the string will be under tension. Okay, so the string will be under tension mg. The oscillator produces transverse waves of frequency f on the string. Oscillator will produce a transverse wave of frequency f on the string. You don't vary this frequency during the experiment. So once you attach some mass to the that horizontal string, then you don't vary the mass, and that mass will cause some oscillation in the string. That oscillation will be having the frequency of f. Okay, so you don't vary this frequency during the experiment, but you try strings with three different linear mass densities mu. What do you mean by this? Have you done this kind of experiment, or have you heard this kind of experiment in your previous classes, 11th or 12th?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir.
Don't you know what is linear mass density of a wire or the string? Mass per
Mass
unit
per
length.
unit length.
Mass per unit length. Okay. So if you know the mass of that string and the length, you can find out the linear mass density of that particular string. So what you have to do in this particular experiment, you don't vary the frequency during the experiment, but what you can do, you can try strings with three different linear mass densities. Okay. You also keep a fixed distance between the end of the string where the oscillator is attached and the point where the string is in contact with the pulley's rim. To produce standing waves on the string, you vary capital M, mass attached to the string. Then you measure the node to node distance small d for each standing wave pattern and obtain the following. So I will show you pictorially how what this experiment is. So it is like this, like this. Okay. So you have an oscillator. So and there is a string which is attached to this. The string is passing through a pulley, and you have capital M. The length of the string is say capital L. You don't vary this frequency of oscillation of this oscillator, but what you can vary, as a question tells us, what you can vary. What is what you can vary? Tell me. Linear mass density of the string. Am I right? Hello. Are you able to correlate the question with this pictorial view? Yes or no? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, let me read the question for you. So, in the physics lab, an oscillator is attached to one end of a string. So you have seen on the left side of that string, there was an oscillator. The other end of the string passes over a frictionless pulley. You suspend a mass capital M from the free end. So if you see here on the left side, there is an oscillator. The string passes over a pulley, and the other end of the string, we attach a mass capital M. Okay, so this is what the experimental setup is. So since M is attached to the free end of the string will be under tension mg. The oscillator produces transverse waves of frequency f on the string. We don't vary this frequency during the experiment, but what you do, you can try out the strings with three different linear mass densities mu. Okay, and you also keep a fixed distance between the end of the string where the oscillator is attached and the point where the string is in contact with the. So you don't change any other parameter of the experiment. The only parameter which you can change is the linear mass density of the string. You can change. Okay, and what is the observation? So here you have a string A. So these two observations are for string A. String A will have the linear mass density as 0.026. Okay, then we will change to another string which will have the linear mass density as 0.0374. Then we will have another string, third string, which will have the linear mass density as 0.0482. Is that clear? Is that clear? Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what is that? So string is in contact. So to produce standing waves on the string, you vary amp. So mass which is attached to the string is varied. Then you measure the node to node distance small d for each standing wave pattern and obtain. And following results have been obtained. So for string A, two observations were carried out. When 559 gram was attached to the string A, the node to node distance of the transverse wave was found to be 48.1 centimeter. When 249 gram was added to the string, the node to node distance was 31.9 centimeter. Similarly, for another string, which was having the density, linear mass density as 0.0374, when mass attached to the string was 365 gram, the node to node distance in the transverse wave was 32 centimeter. Similarly, when 207 gram was added, the node to node distance was 24.2 centimeter. Similarly, for another string C, which was having the linear mass density as 0.0482, when 262 gram was added, 23.8 centimeter was the distance between node to node. So what is the aim? You know, you have these observations in your hand. explain why you obtain only certain values of D. Why only this 48.1? Why only this 31.9? Why only this 32? Why only this particular values? Number 2, plot the graph of mu into D square. Somebody wants to come in? So late. Okay. Part 2, plot the graph of mu into D square versus M. Mu into D square will be on the y-axis, capital M will be on the x-axis. You are supposed to plot this graph. You know mu, you know D, so you will plot one more row here, that will be D square, then one more row which will be mu into D square, that product. Okay, so you will plot this graph mu D square versus M. Then explain why the data plotted this way should fall close to a straight line. You are supposed to explain answer of this in the journal. Third thing, use the slope of best fit straight line to determine the frequency f of the wave produced on the string by the oscillator. Take G as 9.80 meter per second square. So kindly note down these three parameters. So this is the observation table, and based on this observation table, you are supposed to write the answer of these three questions. This is the aim of this experiment number 2 for today's lab. Any doubt?
Yes, sir. In the previous slide, what is the difference between a wave and a standing wave?
See, in this particular, I will show you the next slide also. There is one more aim. So for string A, I will come to your question in a while. For string A, which was having the mass density as 0.0260 gram per centimeter, what value of capital M would be required to produce a standing wave with a node-to-node distance of 24 centimeters? Use the value of F that you already have calculated in part C. Okay, now what you are saying, a simple wave and the standing wave, standing wave will have the reflected complete wave. That is a wave, simple wave can move in the forward direction and not in the reverse direction. Standing wave will have a complete wave. Are you getting my point? We'll show you.
Will have a complete?
Here. Let me show you here. So this is a wave. Okay, and what I showed you, what the question asked you, that small d, distance between node to node is this one. This is a wave, and your standing wave. Sorry, we'll have this loop again. No, this loop. Are you getting my point? Hello.
Yes, sir.
That will be a loop. So here I gave you the entire answer also. So this is the experimental setup diagram, and this wave which is created here, this is called as the antinode. The stationary movement of this wave is called as the node. So this is the node. This next node is here, and next antinode is here. So this small t, which is the distance between node to the next node, is given, has been obtained experimentally, and is given to you here in this table. So this small d is the distance between node to node point. Is that clear to everyone? Hello? Hello? Are you getting my point? What is this small d? Am I there in the mid, or I got logged out?
Yes, sir.
So this small d is the distance between node to node point. So this is the oscillator which is sending out the wave in this particular string. So this is the wave. The node to node distance is small d. What we are not changing, we are not changing the frequency of the oscillation in this particular oscillator. This f will remain same. You are changing is the string with different linear mass densities and the m mass which is attached to the string. They are varied in this particular experiment. Now, you are aware of this relation as capital L can be written as n lambda by 2. Okay. Uh, then I can write therefore lambda equal to 2L by n. Okay, so 2 you can transfer on this side divided by n. So you will get lambda. So n can take values from 1, 2, 3. And if you see here, small d, which is the distance between node to node, so it can take some particular values only. So L by 1, L by 1, L by 2, L by 3, and so on. So therefore, since there is no any n values between 1 to 1, 1 to 2, you cannot have 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. You can have only these values possible, 1, 2, 3. So since n can take values like 1, 2, 3, so therefore small d, this will also take some discrete values like L by 1, L by 2, L by 3, and so on. So that is the answer for your question number 1. What we just know. Explain why you obtain only certain values of d, because it is L equals to d by n, small d by n. Is that clear to everyone? Yes? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now what was the second name? You are supposed to plot mu into d square versus n. Explain why the data plotted this way should fall close to a straight line. And third is use the slope of this graph to find the frequency of wave which is produced by the oscillator. So what you will get then? You know this simple basic from your previous classes. There's small d, the distance between node to node, can be expressed in this form, capital L by n, where L is the length of the string from the point where the oscillator is attached to the rim of that particular pulley. So what I can do, I can write this mu into d square, since I know d is L by n. So I can replace it by mu into, and d is lambda by 2. Okay, I can write like this. So if from this point to this point, this one complete wave is lambda. Okay, so therefore d, this node to node point, can be written as d equal to lambda by 2. So d, I can replace it by lambda by 2. So therefore mu into d square will become nothing but mu into lambda square by 4. Now can anyone tell me why I am writing this same equation as f into lambda square by 4 into mu square or d square? How this term has come here? How this term is arrived here? Yes. Now this is a small homework for you. This you already are aware of this relation. Why I am equating this? Why the mu is not appearing here in this expression, but f is coming, and then f is replaced by f is nothing but tension in the string. Actually, in CS and Zimansky book, f is nothing but the tension in the string. So how come the tension here has come and mu has gone? Okay, mu has gone. So that will be a small homework for you. And tension in the string is nothing but m into g lambda square. So all after cancelling all this term, I will get g upon 4f square into m. Then you are supposed to plot this mu d square versus this capital M graph. Okay, so graph will be like this: mu d square on the y-axis, capital M on the x-axis, and you can find out the slope. Slope will be this number here. The velocity of the wave on the string is nothing but root of f upon mu. F is the tension in the string. Maybe you can write down in your notebook. I'm giving you the answer also. Okay, velocity of the wave on the string can be written as root of f by mu, where f is the tension in the string, where f is m into g, the tension in the string. So you substitute these values here. Okay, so instead of mu, you can just substitute this value here, and you will get this equation. Clear to everyone? Yes. So the slope will be g upon 4f square into capital N. Okay, the slope you can calculate. We have seen how to calculate slope, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So slope will be g upon 4 into f square. G you know 9.8. F you can calculate. Hmm? Is that clear to everyone? The other two part I am leaving it to you. You have to find out the answer of those two parts, C and D part. You will be able to do it. Am I right? Kindly reply.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope you have noted down A part and B part. What is C and D? So use the slope of the best fit. So this is what I explained to you. Slope will be what? G upon 4 into f square. So from that expression you can find out the f. And then fourth part is for string which is having the linear mass density as 0.026. What value of capital M will be required to produce a standing wave with a node to node distance of 24 centimeter? As you already have calculated in C part. So this is a small, very small two-line calculation which you can do on your in your journal. Will you be able to finish this? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these are the only two small experiments, not the hardcore experiment, but kind of data analysis. A part was simple compared to B part. Uh, in A part, very small V square versus T graph you're supposed to plot, find out the slope, and by using slope you find out capital N. In second experiment, slightly lengthier compared to first experiment. Again, but I gave you sufficient hint how to carry out this experiment. Okay, so if any doubt, let us ask.